Hey everyone, welcome to the gameplay video with Total Justice. It's our first game. We're up against Ophelia here. Looks like a pretty sweet hand. We've got two Crests to keep our power going. We've got some early interaction with the Extract and Devastating Setback in case we're up against an aggro deck, and we've got some card draw in case we're up against a control deck. So all in all, pretty good hand. Our opponent's going first, so we'll at least get to know what we're up against to some extent before we use one of our scouts. Looks like he's playing Crest of Chaos, so some sort of a Stone Scar, either an aggro or possibly more of a removal pile control deck. I think pretty much in any case we're going to be looking for a second Primal source. We're not going to need the first Justice for a little bit, but we're going to need to get a Primal out as soon as possible. So I want to play the Primal Crest first so that I can cast Strategize on turn 2 if need be. Yep, another Primal source right on top. Awesome. Looks like it's with Common Cause. Ooh, it's a 3-color kind of a Jund Slingers deck, I've heard it called. Because that 3-color combination is the in Magic, that color combination is called Jund in red, green, black. And it's just a 3-color Gunslinger deck. Generally, I think this is a pretty good matchup for us. We have a lot of early interaction. This hand actually lines up quite well against it. Let's play out the Shadow Sigil. I want to get double Shadow online for these cards, but we're just going to strategize right now, and we might throw back... well, we'll see. We're going to throw back one of these Harsh Rules. We don't need multiples, not with all the other interaction we have, and also we only have a single green at the moment. So all of our other cards are all castable, and Harsh Rule's not. So that's why I want to just keep one. Hopefully he plays another guy that can die to the Devastating Setback. Perfect. So let's just get the good old 2-for-1 right here. And that also meant that he didn't have a 3-drop to play, so hopefully, yeah, there's still a 4-drop, but I can live with that. Means there's not like a Champion of Chaos or something in his hand, or there wasn't at the time. And now it's actually lined up well that since we've put off playing our second tap land, we can play this depleted, get the Scry. Not really interested in that. We've got enough spot removal. I need more power. And we can just extract and get another scout going. That is a power. It's not a green or a Justice, but it's still a power. And we're still just going to need more. We'll get B to draw more cards with Wisdom of the Elders. Next turn we can Wisdom plus Strike, or Extract plus Hold Open Strike. He chose not to attack. Okay, then I think that was a mistake on his part. But in any case, I think we were quite solid on that game. I think if that game went longer, we would just be gaining life off the Extract, drawing some cards, eventually hitting our Sword of the Sky King, or a Channel of Tempest, or something along those lines. So I think we were able to adequately control his early game, even if he did make a slight mistake there by not attacking. Alright, let's hop into some more games. I know in the past I've said in these gameplay videos I'd want to play, say, 5 games with the deck. With a slower control deck like this, depends on how quickly the games go. I'd like to keep the video at a reasonable length. But if games go that quickly and they concede early, well then maybe we can fit in 5. Alright, game 2 here. This is an obvious redraw. We only have a single power. That's nowhere near enough. We definitely want hands that have at least 3 power. Or 2 power plus a Strategize. Here we go. We got 4. We've got an early interaction with Lightning Strike, Wisdom of the Elders, Duelist Blades, and all our powers all sorted out. We've got our double Justice, our double Shadow, and 2 of our 4 Primal that we'll ever need. I don't know what I'm up against here on turn 1. I'm not really hurting for power, so I don't necessarily want to scout on turn 1. Since Hooru Banner is always going to interplay depleted, I'm just going to play that depleted on turn 1 before we know what we're looking for. If I was short on power, I'd probably do this just to dig. Looks like we're up against a Skycrag aggro deck of some sort. He might have a 3rd color, but the fact that they're playing Banner generally tips you off if they're playing an aggressive deck, as opposed to Seat, which you really can't determine at that point. That being said, I think I'd like to play one of our depleted lands. It runs a risk that he has... well, actually, No, I think I'm going to hold open Lightning Strike. I think he might have a Champion of Fury. In which case I want to go turn 2 Lightning Strike, turn 3 Wisdom of the Elders. So I'm just going to play the Seat of Order. This line is definitely not great if he doesn't have Champion of Fury here. But he did. We successfully called that play and got rewarded for it. Another Hooru banner. So we've got a lot of tapped lands. But I really want to get this card draw off. I think that's fine to do here. It means we're not going to get to cast Duelist Blade on turn 5 with this current hand, but ideally we're going to draw into some more action anyway with Wisdom of the Elders. Or maybe another untapped land to let us cast this on time. We did find some action here. Let's just get some scouts going. Do I even want to Lightning Storm this off of this guy? Probably not. It's going to put Feeding Time to the bottom. We'll kill this next turn with a Duelist Blade. It's not ideal, because we're not using our power efficiently this turn. But that was kind of the price we paid for using our power efficiently on turns 2 and 3. That's a touch annoying. Especially since I can't get the Duelist Blade off here. I think I'm just going to Rain of Frogs him. It's kind of an awkward line here, but I bet I'm going to hit a burn spell with it. So it'll save me at least some life. And I think it's more useful than Lightning Storming, because Lightning Storm will only save me 2 damage. Whereas I think Rain of Frogs will save me more than 2 over the course of this game. Thunderbird. That's not a card you typically see in Rakano aggro. It would be a good card here against us. So yeah, I think we're just going to take Thunderbird. Rockslide will deal 2, but we'll have a face Aegis here in a moment with the Duelist Blade, so I'm not that concerned about it. If he had more than 1 burn spell, I'd be a bit more concerned. Ooh, Extract's good. That'll help us buffer our life total. We're going to take a beating here for sure. But actually, if he just plays like the Rakano Outlaw and the Frog out here... Oh, you're kidding me. He drew a Shogun Scepter? Oh, man. Our play was going to be Duelist Blade kill Vadius. But now we can't, because we're going to be short on life here. Or we're going to Lightning Storm Extract Vadius. But now that is off the table. Alright, so we have to just Lightning Storm Extract to buffer our life total, because he has his last card in hand is a Rock Slide. So we'll actually survive here, because we found that Slay on top. So I'm just going to extract him to put up to 18 life. And then we're essentially at 3 right here going into his turn. Because he hits us down to 5. He has a Rock Slide in hand. So if he finds a way to deal that last 3, then we're in trouble. But if he does not, we can stabilize. Especially if he doesn't blow Rock Slide right away. And we can get Duelist Blade to prevent it. And gain some life. Because it'll prevent his Rock Slide plus gain us 4 life. And it's a moot point. His charge went on the biggest unit he could find. Alright, so that was a little bit unfortunate. I think the main loss of that game was him top decking the Shogun Scepter. The turn after I had... Or the turn that I was planning on Lightning Storm plus Extract to kill Vadius. The fact that he put it out of range of both that and of Duelist Blade itself was a little bit unfortunate because we had just Frogs his hand. But, you know, that's how good Aegis units are against this deck. You know, they have 2 layers of protection, which really means that, you know, they have ample time to set up those kind of buffs and those war cries on them. So luckily, I do think in general this version of control with the weapons such as Duelist Blade are quite a bit better against those Aegis units than most control decks because of because of Relic weapons, Duelist Blade and sort of the Sky King, and to some extent Last Word even. It just didn't work out quite as well that game. This is a definite redraw. We don't have any shadow influence, and so really we cannot cast anything with this hand. This hand's not amazing, but it does have 2 power and a Strategize that I can cast. So I'm really just going to look for exclusively power here, or a Vara's Favor of the like. Strategize kind of counts as power because it can help us just keep the draws going, and we can cast it with what we currently have. So I'd keep Power, Vara's Favor, or Strategize here. He has an Echo card. That's interesting. You typically don't see too many Echo cards. Oh, it must be a Find the Way if he's playing Combre. Right, so we'll just Strategize. If he's playing Combre, Duelist Blade is not ideal against this kind of a deck. But to be fair, neither is Lightning Storm. I'll probably end up throwing both of them back at some point. I think Lightning Storm is an easier one to throw back. Because if he's playing Find the Way, he's not playing an aggro version of Combre. Yeah, he's playing a slower, more controlling version. Against which Harsh Rule is much, much better. I think I'll just Strategize right off the bat. I want to find another Primal influence. There's the Primal, and it'll... Oh, this one doesn't interplay Depleted, but it might have interplayed Depleted, and I want to play that this turn instead. I think we don't really care for the Duelist Blade, as I said before. Against the mid-range decks, the 4 damage doesn't necessarily kill any of their big threats, like Sandstorm Titan, Worldbearer Behemoth, Mystic Ascendant. And the Face Aegis is just not extremely relevant against these kinds of decks. It's mainly better against Shadow and Fire decks. So now we'll play our Seat of Order Depleted. So he has at least 1 depleted power in hand. I chose not to play it, so he must be using his full power this turn. That's odd. I feel like if he had like 1 power left over, he should have played the one that'll interplay Depleted off his Find the Way. So I'm not entirely sure what he's up to. I could find out with the Devastating Setback, but I think it's better to just use Wisdom of the Elders this turn. Cobalt, though, we're holding off on playing the Cobalt Waystone in the hope of getting a Face Aegis off of it. Although, as I said before, I'm not entirely sure that Face Aegis is that relevant in this matchup. It's possible that I should have held the Sigil just so that something like a Seat of Vengeance could interplay untapped. But it doesn't actually... It's not actually all that relevant, because we can have an interplay Depleted here, and then just Feeding Time is threat. So we're still looking for one more Justice influence, or not Justice, sorry, Primal. Alright, well there's our Primal and a Justice. I guess you get what you ask for, right? So I'll just kill that guy, play a Depleted land. We're just going to have, you know, strings of removal. And then eventually, hopefully, we'll just hit Channel to pull us really far away. Unfortunately, his hand looks like it has a lot of... I was about to say, since he hasn't played any smaller threats, I bet his hand has at least 1 or 2 more big threats like a Sandstorm Titan or Worldbearer Behemoth, but apparently not. And top decking this Crest Cunning was actually really clutch in that it lets us get to Channel Tempest next turn. I'm going to put that on bottom. I could play Devastating Setback to make sure the coast is clear for Setback next turn. Or I could just play Duelist Blade. I think it's probably better to just play Duelist Blade and attack him. I guess this line is slightly weak to like double Desert Marshal. Sure. I'm still willing to lose to it. Or not lose, but be in a bad spot to double Desert Marshal here. Because if 2 of his cards in hand are Desert Marshal, I think we're going to win this game. Because those cards are very low impact in general. He chose not to play it, so he probably has at least 1. On the hope, he might be holding out hope that we have units in our deck. We do not. Not at all. And so we just drew the best card in our deck against this kind of a deck, a Harsh Rule. But more importantly, we have exactly 3 cards after this Channel Tempest, which means exactly 6 to kill the Carnosaur. And we just drew some of the best possible ones. More Channel Tempests, a Celestial Omen, which is anything. Generally, it'll be something like a Last Word in this kind of situation. But I'm pretty sure we're just going to keep bashing him and then just double Channel Tempest to his face. Yeah, let's just go for the win in 2 turns here. If I had 9 power, you could make the argument for Setback plus Omen. So another great part about these relic weapons, smacking him around, is it makes killing him with Channel the Tempest much easier. You know, you get extra chip damage, and you don't need to do his full 30 plus life total with just Channel the Tempest. Yeah, assuming they've gained any life. Yeah, he didn't have an Aegis type effect last turn, so we'll just channel a Tempest for the win here. Nice. Yeah, that matchup actually, this big Combre type matchup was a matchup that was a little bit worse for the old time version of the deck, the Total Recall version, mainly because we weren't packing Harsh Rule. We were running Stray into Shadows, which doesn't kill a lot of the big threats that you care about. It had the same amount of spot removal and same kind of end game, but you really just swap Stray into Shadow for Harsh Rule, and it dramatically improves the matchup overall. I also wasn't running Last Word before, which you could have run in the old Total Recall, and I honestly would suggest it. Last Word is quite strong against those kind of decks that don't have too much burn or charge units. They just rely on individually large, hard to deal with units. And then Last Word is able to come down, kill their big unit, and then untap next turn, kill their next unit, and ultimate it. And then eventually they have to run out of strict chains of guys, and then you're able to just kill them with it. So here's a hand that is like, I think we're going to redraw, but it's kind of borderline because you do have 2 power, a scry, and a strategize. But you have 2 endgame cards that you really don't want to see in your opening hand, Channel the Tempest and Last Word. If I only had one of those, and maybe if one of those was a power, I'd probably keep it. This hand's quite a bit better. It's got essentially 3 power at the Vara's favor and still a strategize, but also a Harsh Rule in case we run into an aggro deck here. But I don't know exactly what we're up against, so I'm going to just play the Hooru banner and save my scout until I know what I'm up against here. Looks like we're up against Praxis mid-range, I would imagine. Same kind of deal where the Harsh Rule's really good against them. More power, absolutely. It's not a Justice influence, which is a little unfortunate. But we'll be fine. We'll find one to strategize, I'm sure. I generally like to scout first before the strategize, because in case there's a card I know I just don't want, I'll just put it on the bottom. That's a card I know I do want, though, so we'll keep that on top. Probably going to muck back the Lightning Storm here. Yep. Now we've got a double Justice. We've got our 5th power for the Harsh Rule. We don't have any spot removal, though, but luckily he didn't have a big power 4-drop here, so we didn't really need to use it. I doubt I'm going to need to Harsh Rule next turn. I think I'm just going to take a look at his hand with the Setback. There's not a whole lot of things you really want to get against this kind of a deck. But Setback doesn't really have too many applications otherwise, so we'll just see what we're up against here. Purify, so unfortunately it's just a blank. But it gives me a little bit of peace of mind here that he doesn't have a torch or something to be able to burn me. Wisdom of the Elders is fine. I'll keep that on top. Because next turn we can Vara's favor plus Wisdom of the Elders. He's going to play something. Oh, Jesus. I was going to say I probably won't need to Harsh Rule next turn, but it looks like I might. Oh my god. That was something. Alright, I guess I'll have to hold off on the Wisdom of the Elders. I gotta save me some life total. Gonna kill this Tempered Sentinel with a Lightning Storm. So now hopefully he'll... If I didn't do that, he might have just held tight on this board. He wouldn't have played anything else, but now he is probably inclined to play another threat out there, so we can Harsh Rule 2 threats instead of just 1. That's not really a threat, but I really don't want to take multiple hits from this Guardian. I might just suck it up and do it. I don't think he has any... He doesn't have too much burn. 7, 8, 9. I guess this line is weak to another charge unit, Tempered Sentinel. God, I wish I just had a spot removal spell here, rather than just having to blow the whole Harsh Rule. Let's take a look at the Crest of Vengeance and see what happens. What's going to happen next turn. Another power. I think we're going to keep that on top. Just because we need to get up towards Channel the Tempest mana. I think I'm just going to Harsh Rule. I just want to keep my life total high. He might have another threat, but I doubt his... I am afraid of dying here, because he's drawn a couple more cards. He may have a burn spell. He may have found another Tempered Sentinel, and I just don't want that to be our fate here. I'll just play Crest or Seat and pass, and then if he does I might just Celestial Omen for a Cobalt Waystone, which will give me a Channel of Tempest power. Let me just double check here. No. Oh, jeez. Looks like we are going to have to grab a Harsh Rule instead. Is he going to attack with us, or what's he considering? Yeah, we're just going to have to grab a Harsh Rule. Not great, but that's the nature of Tempered Sentinel putting on the pressure, huh? Luckily we drew our power, though, so next turn we'll be able to Channel Tempest. If Channel Tempest even kills any of his threats. Because we're only going to have... It's only going to deal 5? Unreal. A third Tempered Sentinel. Yeah, that was an unfortunate loss. I mean, I think we... You know, considering that he had more Tempered Sentinels, it was definitely correct to Harsh Rule the turn I did initially. Unfortunately, just he had, you know, 2 more and was able to burn us out from there. Yeah, his deck seems pretty sweet, though. So I'm definitely excited to look into, you know, maybe brewing up a deck like that of my own. Sentinel kind of aggro-ish deck. It seemed pretty sweet. But that's it for this video. It's getting a little bit long. So I hope you guys got a little bit better feel for the deck and how it works. How it plays out against some of the matchups, and how you can, you know, think about properly ordering your spells and your power with this deck. You can also check out my stream on Twitch for more awesome gameplay of this deck and other decks. And you can check out all of my other deck techs and gameplay videos as well here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.